Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, preaching his word, truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching his word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching his word, truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And the title of this sit-down lesson is going to be another in the news article. And this is from allmonitor.com. And it says the title of the headline is going to be Russia bombs Turkey allies in Syria ahead of Putin-Erdogan summit. So that person's name right there I couldn't pronounce. I think he's the president of Turkey, and Vladimir Putin going to meet up with him, the president of Turkey, for a summit meeting, I believe. And you have Russian jets shells a camp for the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army in Afrin, north of Aleppo, and intensified its airstrikes against the areas controlled by the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and Abdi. Ahead of the meeting between the Turkish and Russian presidents on September 29th. So, yeah. So that's tomorrow. Continue on with the reading from September 28th, 2021. Sources affiliated with the Syrian opposition, so-called National Army form known as the Free Syrian Army, told Al Monitor that the Russian jets launched several air raids on September 26. The raids hits a military base of Al Hamza Division, a group affiliated with the National Army, in the village of the Bardi and Afrin in the northern countryside of Aleppo. 6 members of the National Armies were killed and 11 others were wounded. Most of those who were killed hail from the eastern Ghouta area of the outskirts of Damascus in Syria. The sources confirms that Russia reconnaissance plans and have intensified their source before the bombing. Also, a day before the bombing, Russian airplanes carry out several raids on different areas of Afrin. They shield the area surrounding of the Balhashala and the area between the Jabal and in the Afrin countryside. This is in addition to air raids targeting the neighboring towns of Basufan, and all of these areas are under control of the Turkish allies' National Army factions. The Russian raids was not limited to the national areas is the countryside of the Afrin, but extended to hit large areas in the Idlib control bases. Control by hits. It is noted that Russian warplanes on a daily basis dozen air raids in the large areas of Al-Deep. This escalation comes ahead of an upcoming meeting on September 29th in the Russian city of Sochi between the Russian President Vladimir Putin and Turkey President Recep and Tayyip Erdogan to discuss the Syrian issues, especially the situation in Idlib, in a related context of the Syrian Liberation Forum claims an attack on the joint headquarters of the Syrian Democratic Forces, which is the SDF, stands for Syrian Democratic Forces, and the Bashar al-Assad regime in Afrin in retaliation for its members killed in a Russian raid in the area. And a military source from the Syrian Liberation Front who spoke to Al Monitor on the condition anonymously confirms that the Syrian Democratic Forces, stands for SDC, and the Assad regime positions were targeted in a barrage of Grad missiles. On its social media accounts, the Syrian Liberation posts a video from Blood for Blood showing that it was the attack on the joint headquarters of the Assad forces and the PKK with an anti-armor missiles on the broad front. And it reads on with the article on the subject. Our monitor met with Malik Abdul Saraji, I guess that's how you pronounce it, a leader in the Syrian Liberation Front. The Russians are expected to target any area in the liberation areas that they have been showing in the lack of commitments to the conclusion international international treaties and endless and open support for the Assad regime. The artillery and the missiles units of the Syrian Liberation Front target several enemy military sites, causing direct hits. He added, "We trusted the Turkish guarantor and the Turkish policies that to support the people's rights to freedom and dignity and advocate legitimate causes. Meanwhile, Russia has always support Assad. The National Army will remain steadfast and will not renounce its objects to bring down the Assad regime and its terrorist offspring such as Islamic State and the PKK and the PYD. The National Army commands Abdul Salam Abdul Rasaka, who resides in Al-Libya, and told the Al Monitor that the recent Russian military campaign in northern Syria is linked to the issues of the east of the Euphrates in light of talks about the U.S. troops pull out in Russia and Turkey failure to agree on the fate of its regime. Should this pull out occur, Russia want to control the M4, Aleppo, Latakia Road, and then all other areas if it can by bombing the Olive Branch areas. Russia is asserting that all areas, the Syrian territories, and that it has the right to bomb them whenever it wants. Russia believes all factions that are not loyal to the Assad are terrorists, and we could continue Russian bombings of the faction areas reflect on the depth of the Russian-Turkish dispute over Syria. I do not expect, however, a battle in Idlib in the time being. The Turkey-Russia summit could defer this battle as some sort of understanding is reached on most of the outstanding issues between the two sides. In turn, Magdi Kalini and the Lib-based researchers at the Jerusalem Center of Studies told Al Monitor that it is continuing bombing the Idlib aims to pressure on Turkey. Moreover, Russia's main goal is to destabilize the opposition's areas conjunction with the suffering and the regime control. areas. He explained, but the intensification of Russia air raids and the fact that these air raids also targets the Afrin region and the areas under the control of National Army north of Aleppo is a clear message that the Turkey-Russian relationships are not screened only by field pressure. There are other points of disagreement between the two sides. Russia is inclined to rediscuss all issues and raise the ceiling of its demands based on new data or new concerns. So yeah, I ain't gonna read all through the article. It's gonna take a long time, but as I was bringing this news article out in the news, upload another video again, doing another sit-down lesson, reference to this article right here. Yeah, that kind of shows you right there that, you got the Russians over there, you got the Turkey's allies back groups over there, and then you got the Islamic terrorists over there, and you got the PKK terrorists over there as well too, organization groups. So it's a lot of stuff going on, parts in the region over there in Syria. So the president of Turkey and the president Vladimir Putin, they having a summit meeting on which is tomorrow on September 29th. So it's a lot of things both sides got to disagree on, and this scripture right here comes to mind. Let me bring it out. And this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. As you see right here in this article, right here, it shows right here between the two groups. And you got all other different nationality and different factions of military groups over there as well too, all through that region over there in Syria. So, it's not going to be calmed down anytime soon. So, two groups trying to come to some type of agreement, but there's still many issues to need to be settled. So, that scripture, this Matthew 24:7 correlates to this news article a little bit. So I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. In this sit-down lesson in the news article, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, because, the earthquakes, you're starting to see, around the world as well, too, you're seeing like 3 earthquakes in Chile, earthquakes in Australia, earthquakes over there in Los Angeles, earthquakes over there in Greece. So, you're starting to see more a high intense increase in earthquakes, and famine as well too. Famine throughout the world, you're starting to see that as well too. And like I mentioned before, earthquakes in diverse places, that means it's around the world, not just only in one place. It's going to be intensify and increase around the world as well too. And then you're going to have these nations going against each other, even if it can be in that one country, but you got different nationalities in that one country clashing it out with each other. It could be like 3 or 4 different nationalities or group clashing with each other. So that's what you call the nation shall rise against nation. Other nations going against each other in that one country. It could be different nationalities in that country, clashing it out, going war with each other and everything like that, and kingdom against kingdom, kingdoms of different nations, of different countries, they're going to be clashing it with each other as well too. Even it's from an economic standpoint, from a war standpoint, political standpoint, economic standpoint, a financial standpoint, a food crisis type standpoint, so these are many different category of things of nations are going against each other, in many different ways. So that's why that Matthew 24:7 correlates to this article right here of the Russian bombing Turkey allies in Syria ahead of Putin and the president of Turkey summit, So other than that, these are the signs of times that we are living in. Expect to see nation shall rise against nation. You're going to start to see that more and increasingly, in these last days, as is prophesied according to the Holy Scriptures, So with that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, of great wisdom, preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akin, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akin, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. That's the Israelites that be like unto the speckled bird, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully, faithfully, and sincerely. Until next time, I will say shalom.